It's Thursday, February 25th, 2021. Episode Z41. If you're keeping track, you are about to go down the rabbit hole with Joe and Brian. I'm Brian. With me, as always, my good friend Joe. Joe, how you doing?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How could you not be doing good? Thursday, dude.
Yeah, it's Thursday. Yeah. The people don't know, but the technology gods have been working against me. But as always, I will triumph. I always do.
Yeah, everybody knows that the technology gods were a bunch of haters anyway.
They are. So, trying to cancel me, but you can't do it.
Nope. Try as they might.
Try as they might.
Motherfucker, give me 2 fingers of Southern Comfort.
What did bartender bring you tonight, Joe?
I am having a Joe High not Joe High original, Joe High classic rum and Coke, or rather rum and Pepsi, rather.
Okay.
Sacrilege. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. I'm having a couple shots of Jameson.
And a couple this time?
Just a couple this time. And I'm chasing it down with a Miller Lite.
What was the rhyme you said earlier?
Oh, yeah. Beer and whiskey, mighty risky. Whiskey, beer, never fear.
So you're doing the latter, not the former.
That's right.
Excellent.
So, and this is kind of a momentous. I can't say that word.
Yeah. Momentous.
I need to quit trying.
No. You try words. I mean.
Yeah. Where's my dude at, man?
Today, Junior.
Get it out.
Yeah.
No, this is. I'm not saying it, but this will be the first beer I've had since probably sometime between Christmas and New Year's.
Holy smoke!
Yeah. So
I mean, does it taste extra delicious? I mean, does it taste like something Because like for example, the last time you had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, probably was the very best peanut butter and jelly sandwich you had in a long time.
It was, yeah.
And so, yeah, if you put something down for a minute and you come back, it tastes that much better.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Although I'm having a sip of like 80 proof whiskey first, so that's kind of skewing my taste buds. But yeah, good times.
What are you chasing that manly whiskey with again?
Miller Lite.
Oh, okay. Well.
And the interesting thing is it's like it's fewer carbs, or not? No, it's fewer calories than a lot of the hard seltzer drinks out there, and only one additional carb. I think this has like 3 carbs in it, so I should be able to drink this
and still be in the purple zone.
Yeah, still be in the purple zone. We'll see.
And is this week 6 in the purple zone?
I'll be honest with you, I've lost track.
Okay, so like
probably 7. We're close to.
Yeah, probably 7
we're
or 8.
Almost at, yeah, we're at the end of this month.
All right, let's yes.
A quick update. I've stopped. I don't count my calories and my carb intake now. I figure I know what I can eat and how much I can eat now, and so I'm not obsessing over. I'm not doing the counts right now. So I think I started that maybe this past weekend. So far things are good. I'm still eating about 1 meal a day, and those meals are low to no carbs. So I'm hoping that I'm kind of just phasing into the portion where I turn this from a diet into just the way I eat. You know.
All right.
So that's what I'm hoping anyway.
Well, if we get more healthy years of BC Newman, it'll be all worth it.
Amen, brother. So I want to let's I don't have any real updates except for I don't have any stories per se, but I did see a headline concerning the George Floyd, and that was that prosecutors are trying. I seen that they were trying to tack on third-degree murder charges, and I think you've done a little research on that for me. You know more about it than I do.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull it up again.
Yeah.
Let's see here. And of course, that which was easy and right in front of your face a minute ago, now isn't.
The technology gods, man.
Bastards. But basically, he had what? Let me just let's see here. George Floyd charges, and so what? Chauvin is charged with second-degree unintentional murder and second-degree manslaughter, whereas the other cops were charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder.
Okay.
Yeah.
So adding this on would just, I mean, I guess the ultimate goal is to increase their years if they're convicted, right? Is that what it's for? Or just to give the prosecutor more to shoot for?
Yeah, I think they really. I think they're not necessarily sure that they can positively convict on the other two charges. That's the only reason to throw the other one in there, in my opinion. Like, okay, well, did he have malice intent? Well, I mean, so that's probably what that is. Is like, okay, we want to. Would you rather have 3 strikes or 2?
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Okay. That all makes sense.
Yeah,
okay.
And I think the other thing is that I think somebody put the word out that, hey, if you guys screw this up and fail to convict this person,
right?
Yeah, I think somebody put the word out that there's going to be hell to pay if Minnesota can't put a cop in jail for whom everyone in the world has seen murder another person. So
yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Well, not cool, but
yeah.
Thank you for elaborating on that. I only seen the headline, and I didn't dig deeper, and I didn't bring a story. So, thanks for looking that up and
oh no,
providing some context on that.
Yeah, but that's that type of stuff that passes by your desk. You're like, oh, that's interesting, and then it's not until you're like, oh crap, why are they doing that? Why is that necessary? Oh.
Exactly. We have a little bit of feedback this week from listener Mike.
There's one other story we need to go over.
Oh, is there? No, you got another one? I'm sorry.
Sorry. It's Arbery, right?
What do you got?
Well, if I recall correctly, he was shot on February 23rd. So 2 days ago marks the 1 year anniversary of his murder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so oh my goodness, wait a minute. Wait. We started this show like in March, right?
Not long after this happened.
Yeah. This was the very first thing we were covering, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm. It was.
But and so there is that. There's also, I think the mother of Arbery is also suing the city, if I recall correctly. I know there are 2. She's got at least one case. She's let me stop talking and pull it up. I came across this just a few minutes ago, and here it is. Arbery's mother accuses officials of vast cover-up in lawsuit. Arbery's, see here. Ahmaud Arbery's mother filed a federal civil suit Tuesday alleging that the police in Glenn County, Georgia, and two local prosecutors conspired to cover up Arbery's murder and protect the men involved in his death. The suit seeks $1 million in damages and claims that the police department and officials in Brunswick County District Attorney's Office worked together to paint Arbery as a violent criminal and absolve Gregory McMichael and his son, Travis McMichael, and their neighbor, William Bryant, of any wrongdoing. There has existed a vast conspiracy between law enforcement officials and agencies, not only in covering up the evidence to arrest Ahmaud's killers, but also covering up evidence that would directly implicate law enforcement in the murder. Read the statement from Lee Merritt, the attorney for Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper. So,
I know that there was, if you recall, there was definitely a smear campaign out when this happened.
I faintly remember a smear campaign about them saying, "Oh, like, well, who goes jogging in khaki shorts or something like that."
It was everything from, why was he jogging? Why was he in that area? Why was he jogging in that area? What was he really jogging with? What he was wearing? All kinds of stuff. And then they even went back and brought up, past discretions that he had with the police when he was in high school and stuff.
Like yeah. Yes. That's like one of the standard standard operating procedure playbook things is that when you have something like this happen, the very first thing they do is they go and they find the dead person, the person whom cannot defend themselves anymore, and they try to see if there's any dirt under their fingernails.
Sadly, you're right.
And so it's awful.
As though any of those would have made what happened okay,
Yeah, no, not at all. But hey, do you think this is going to go? Do you think this trial, this suit's going to go anywhere?
I honestly don't know. I don't know.
I would say slim and none.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Let's see here. Who's that? Let me read a little bit more. Let's see here.
Yeah. Like, is this a civil suit?
Yes.
As opposed to a. So there is a lower.
There is a
threshold.
Lower yes.
Yeah. This is what they went after OJ on after he got off on the criminal case, right? Civil suit.
Yes, but I don't think theirs was federal in the OJ. But yeah, in the OJ thing, they were literally throwing everything, including the kitchen sink.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Let me a little bit more. According to the civil suit, they were Jackie Johnson, who was a district attorney at the time, quickly got involved to help Gregory, her former colleague and a friend of many years. The suit alleges Johnson, who is also named in the suit, is alleged to have told police in the days after the shooting that there was no need to arrest the McMichaels, according to the reports and civil suit. Instead, she tapped another defendant, Waycross Judicial District Court Attorney George Barnhill, to take over the case and allege the cover-up. And the alleged cover-up, once she recused herself, according to the suit. So basically, there are a couple shady missteps that occurred shortly thereafter the actual murder. Yeah.
I don't know what the actual size of this area, this community is, but I come from a small rural community, and everybody. It was like it was definitely good. The Good Old Boys Club kind of run things in the area that I was in. Now, fortunately, that really the extent of that didn't go past maybe like whose kids got to play on the basketball team and stuff like that. But I could almost see that just the way my interactions with the police and stuff, that I could see how easy it would be for a cover up to just kind of happen,
Oh yeah. Now, mind you, I'm saying that I don't think the case will go anywhere. I don't think she's going to get $1 million, but I think they definitely covered it up. I mean, the fact that
that's what I was sorry, that's what I was speaking to more than her case, but just a cover up in general. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where what do you expect if everybody knows each other,
Yeah.
and you and this guy, you guys have been work buddies for the past 10 years, and he a little rough around the edges, but you don't want to see him go away for murder, and not especially So I could definitely see how all these cops know each other. You roll up on a scene, there's a dead body, and a person who like, and trust says, "Hey, well, I was in danger," and you just believe him. Like, to me, the idea that someone ends up shot dead on the street and no one goes to jail, that should have been the very first. That was the very first sign something was wrong. And if I recall correctly, this thing happened, and it didn't come out until like a month later.
Or more.
Yeah.
More.
So,
and I think we even questioned that at the beginning. Was like, why were they not arrested when it happened?
Yeah. If you shoot somebody, unless you already have a badge on you, you should go to jail for at least one night. I mean.
Yeah. Wow. Now that I'm thinking about it in these context, I was actually a beneficiary of this Good Old Boys Club that I was talking about.
How so? Oh, wait, speeding ticket?
Yeah, I was. Well, back in the day when I was, I think I had just graduated or whatever. But I got a speeding ticket going into to Leesburg. That's one of the small towns near where I grew up in, and I got a speeding ticket and I had to go before, and you had to go before. It was at the time, I think it was the mayor. You had to go. The mayor is the one who was hearing these cases, and it was Tom Gorman, who he was friends with me. He was friends with Dad. He was just part of that that network, and, he was just he was in
boy, right?
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, okay, man, yeah, they moved the limit signs out, so just be mindful, don't do it again. All right, man, thanks, Tom.
Yeah, and on your merry way you went.
Yeah, now I didn't kill nobody.
Now, but it's crazy because, after this occurred, I think it probably took a few months for me, but I thought to myself, yeah, this is the Good Old Boy Network and play. And it's one of those things where, did we have the idea about the Good Old Boy Network? Yes, we did. But it is interesting to see how it works, and who benefits from it.
Yeah, and the smaller the community, obviously the easier it is for stuff like that to happen. There's less oversight, things like that.
I'd be interested in seeing how did the story make it out to the broader world, because this seemed like one of those things that could have really easily been just if this wasn't on video, we would never have heard of it.
Right, that's true.
So, well, hopefully those dirtbags will get their comeuppance.
I just don't see them wiggling out of this, man.
I
know you're more skeptical, but
Now the crazy thing is, the guy who's been the beneficiary of the Good Old Boy Network.
Well, yeah,
but fair enough. They are. What happened to you, and this is on two totally different orders of magnitude.
Yeah. So, Yeah. So yeah, we'll as always we'll definitely keep following. Surely the trial's got to start soon. I mean, it's been a year.
Yeah, I mean that whole thing about swift and speedy justice.
Right. Right.
So, what was the feedback?
All right. So my buddy Mike, who he's a I don't want to call him a faithful listener, but he listens. I think as much as he can.
Yeah, it sounded like a faithful listener to me.
Yeah, he's pretty faithful.
Hey, Mike,
So he made
keep the faith, okay?
he made a couple he made a couple comments based off of last show that things, he's like, when you're doing the show, after the show, I don't know if you're the same way, but after the show you think about all the things that you should have said, but but you just didn't come to you at the time. And so Mike is like Mike kind of he's like my backup for that. He made a couple comments off of made one comment when we was talking about the Cuomo stuff, and he made a good point. It wasn't, intent wasn't the issue. He says it's the cover up and the fact that Cuomo threatened people to not say things.
I guess I wasn't aware of that.
Oh yeah.
Did we know that? Did we know that at this time last week?
I knew it. I just didn't think to say anything about it. I didn't. I did. I had heard about it and read about it, but I didn't. When I was like I said, when I was talking about it, I just didn't think to bring that up. But that's a good point. I mean, Cuomo. Yeah, there's people that were saying, yeah, I was threatened. He told me that he would ruin me if I said anything and X, Y, and Z, and it was definitely a cover up. And I think that's probably if that's probably the worst, other than the people who actually died as a result. That's the worst part, is the cover up.
Well, my thing was I wasn't. I guess I was thinking in terms of him being like criminally culpable, and seeing as how he was acting in the capacity of a governor making a decision, and that's why I think he.
Well, and I think that still stands. I'm not sure that I'm not sure that him trying to. I don't know that any of these things are necessarily illegal. Yeah. Trying to hide his mistake. I don't know. Is that illegal? Trying to hide what the mistake
it becomes illegal if he told some, if he lied to, let's say, a judge or a Fed, or he tried to get somebody to lie. So. And telling them to shut up and not say something, that may be dancing in that green line. Okay, well, are you saying to like not tell the truth or just not cooperate with investigators or whatever? So there may be some smoke for him in that area.
Yeah, and I was, and this came to me this past week when I was talking to Mike about it, chatting with Mike about it. I thought that maybe Cuomo might be in trouble because Democrats were mad at him as well. But then it just kind of came to me when I was talking about it again, was Democrats might be mad at him, but the Democrats who count don't seem to be mad at him.
Yeah,
so, he's.
I think I mean, he may have he may not be able to run for president. But he's not going anywhere. People talk about him being impeached and removed. I don't think he's going to be impeached and removed.
No, I don't either.
But don't listen to me, because I apparently think that everyone skates, and that America.
You do have that's kind of funny. Yeah, you. Oh well, you could be right. I don't know. But then this was kind of an offhand comment that he made that I thought. That I just put in the show notes because I liked it. He's like, the Democrats have effectively controlled the House, Senate, and White House since January. What positive things have they accomplished? And that's just kind of an open-ended question.
Well, the inauguration wasn't until January 20th.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's not. I mean, so yeah, they controlled since the last week of January, thereabouts. Okay. Last week and a half.
Well, of the House. I mean, of the Senate, they've had the House for several years.
Oh, but I mean, since they've not had control long enough to be, get anything effective. They haven't even, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
So
it's like when you sign up for a new job, you don't show up and just start being productive day one. It's like a 2 to 3 month period where you're learning the job and you're kind of onboarding. You're familiar with that,
right.
so yeah. I think I don't. That question seems to be somewhat less than charitable.
Okay. Well, we'll revisit it in a.
Well, and
we'll
it's,
revisit it.
it's a fair question though, but just not now. I mean,
It is, yeah. We'll revisit it.
all right.
So I think those are. I think we're ready to get into the meat of the program.
I like meat.
Yes, you do. So this topic you brought, this is and I titled it Beijing Biden. That's the name that the people on the right like to call Biden, Beijing Biden. But it seemed with this story, it kind of seemed appropriate.
Yeah, but they need to do a better job because that nickname isn't sticking. The only person I've heard that from, the only place I've heard that from is you.
Yeah, it's all over the right wing, and I say right wing. I mean, the crazy radicals that I listen to.
Oh, okay.
Beijing
guys.
Biden,
Huh?
yeah, those guys. But Joe Biden's comments on the Uyghurs invite criticism. Let me see. Does this story? Yeah, just so people know, the Uyghurs are like Chinese Muslims.
Yeah, they are a Chinese. They're ethnically Chinese group of Muslims in the western portion of China.
Yeah, and so earlier this week, U.S. President Joe Biden received criticism for his comments on China, in which he downplayed the persecution of Uyghur Muslims as part of China's, quote, different norms, unquote. The criticism came in particular from the American Muslim community, which actively supported him for the presidency during the U.S. elections. Biden made the comments during a CNN town hall meeting last Tuesday, in which he was asked by the host, Anderson Cooper, about his recent phone call with Chinese President Xi Jinping. He stated, "I'm not going to speak out against what he is doing in Hong Kong or what he's doing with Uyghurs in West China or what he's doing in Taiwan. There are culturally different norms in every country." He further added, inviting a tsunami of criticism on social media. American Muslim community took to Twitter to express their outrage. "I never expected anyone to run to their aid, but I also never expected an open and most absurd justification for what's happening to the Uyghurs," tweeted Dr. Shadi El-Masri. I don't know whether people are familiar with just what kind of persecution that these people are being put through. I obviously don't know. I only know things that I've heard, and I've been hearing this for several. I mean, it's not a new thing. This has been happening for years and years and years. But
Yeah, for
I mean,
years.
yeah. I mean, and like the horrible things. Like I've even I can't document it and prove this, but I've heard stories about, you hear stories about, organ harvesting coming out of China,
Mm-hmm.
and I've heard that that's that a lot of times they've done that with just these people, taking just ridiculously horrible things.
Yeah. The word evil is not too strong a word. And uh, this is one of those this is one of those things. People are going to miss Trump in ways that surprises you, and that surprises them. That surprises everybody. Yeah, and let me. The thing I'm interested in. He said, "I'm not going to speak out on what she is doing in Hong Kong, comma, or what he's doing with the Uyghurs in West China, or what he's doing in Taiwan." 2 weeks ago, we talked about this whole thing about Taiwan and about how China kind of taking its ascendancy may not come in the form of us going to war with them, but places like Hong Kong and more specifically Taiwan falling, and America doing absolutely nothing. And in this comment, when he's saying that he's not going to chastise Xi over what's happening in Hong Kong, basically them stripping away the freedoms that Hong Kongers enjoy, and kind of bringing them into the mainland system. And what you said about the Uyghurs, it's and we talked about this before as well. You remember that exhibit that was at the museum in Cincinnati a few years ago with the dead bodies?
Yeah.
Yeah, those people, the people who were
No, don't say it.
those folks were either Falun Gong practitioners or Uyghurs.
Wow.
Yes, yes, and so this is one of those things where it's a huge. I mean, this is very, very big, very, very bad, and yeah. And the other crazy thing is that on day one when Biden took office, China started basically violating Taiwan's airspace. So basically, flying jets close to their airspace and then turning around or actually violating it. They started harassing Taiwan since Joe Biden's inauguration. So this whole Beijing Biden thing, I think there's something to it, and we should keep our eye on him extra closely.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, people. China is. Religion just period is outlawed, right?
Yes, they are communists.
Right.
The state is their religion.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's one of those things where China just may be the focus of evil in the world right now.
And nobody wants to deal with them.
Nobody, especially Joe Biden. And so it's very sad, very sad.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this. I hadn't seen this story. I'm glad you, and I'm surprised. This seems like a story that would be like right up the alley of some of the sites that I visit. But I hadn't heard about this until you brought it to my attention earlier. So
I guess I'm surprised that I'm surprised I didn't see this on CNBC or on NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN. It occurred on the CNN town hall. But typically those type of things, you see a lot of things being replayed. I did not see this story replayed, and it was quite literally dumb luck that I found it. So
it's a huge. I mean, it's yeah. And again, we've talked ad nauseum in the past about how our media fails us when it comes to like any kind of real meaningful news, but this should be kind of like headline news.
Well, this is going to be that story that snuck under the headlines, and in a year or so, people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, he did say that. He did say that. He's not going to talk to them about what's going on with the Uyghurs. He's not going to talk to them about what's going on in Hong Kong, and he's not going to talk to them about what's going on in Taiwan." So, this is a foreign policy blunder in the making. It's not as bad as going to a war with Iraq the second time, but it looks as if we're headed in that direction.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I get really worked up on that, but it's
No, I think you and I both are concerned about the threat of China. You know, it's. I mean, we've talked about it in the past, but people just don't seem to care. But I mean, China has their roots deep in America and American culture, and we probably don't want to know to what extent their influence is, but it's like I said, my example the last time we talked about this, you know, the NBA is a huge influence on America's youth, and apparently, you know, the NBA is in the pocket of China, and yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Actually, yeah, we should have the Biden China watch too, to go along with our other one.
Yeah, the other one, which is this is going to be great. We'll get to it here in a second. But if we're done with that, I want to move on to. I just want to talk about. I got to keep going back to COVID. I know that I've lost the argument on COVID, but
this is kind of funny. It kind of this seems to be like an ongoing theme in your life.
It is. I don't know why it bothers me so much, because
let me go a little bit further.
Please.
Friggin' Michael Jordan. Now, when did you finally admit that he was okay?
Like last year.
Yeah,
no, it was a while ago, but yeah, it was well after he retired and everything.
Yeah, so like when Mr. Newman wraps his mind around something, you're not gonna get him to come off of it.
Yeah, I know, but
you were saying?
Okay, I have some clips. I have some clips that I just want, and I just want to play these because I find them interesting, but I don't expect any. I mean, I don't expect to change anyone's minds. I know that it is what it is. I just, but I wanted to. I found these interesting. I thought I'd bring them to the table. This first one here is, and I think this first one here is just. I'll play it, and then I'll comment on it.
All right, let's hear it.
But this is Bill Gates on 60 Minutes. But pay attention to who they're sponsored by.
All right.
Bill Gates' advice on how to combat mistrust in science at 60minutesovertime.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
That's great. I thought sponsored by Pfizer.
Yeah, it is a good thing that they have to say that, because if they didn't,
yeah.
And can you imagine? Can you imagine for all the things that they don't have to acknowledge who they're getting their money from?
Exactly. Yeah. This next one, I guess this is as bad as things are. I guess we should. Well, I guess just listen. I'll comment after the fact, but just listen to the delivery. Listen to what he's saying, and then how he's delivering the message. So,
all right.
Here we go. This is from ABC.
Well, we could take this. There was encouraging news today on the flu season here in the U.S. The CDC reporting the lowest rate of flu-related hospitalizations since they began keeping records. 165 hospitalizations, 165 between October 1st and early February, compared to 400,000 in that time last year. And
it even vibrates like real.
Oh,
huh?
That last piece, I took this from No Agenda, and they stuck that clip at the end to kind of like make fun of it. But yeah, he just reported this year 165 flu related deaths versus 400,000 last year, and he just reported it as though it was nothing. So I guess that's good news. Our flu deaths are down that much. That's great news. So
Yeah, that's great news. Well, wait a minute. Is that really what you wanted to point out?
well, obviously my point is that how many of these flu deaths were attributed to COVID, but you know, I know that I've lost the argument, so I'll just throw these out there, and if someone wants to connect those dots, they're more than welcome to. I know. What is this? Did I load up the same clip twice? I did. That's fine. So a lot of times it's easy, you know, if I wanted to, I could come to the show with 100 clips of backing up my points, but that, you know, they would come from people who think like me, and I know that, you know, when I bring things to the show, I try to be mindful of the source, and I try not to. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. This beer is wreaking havoc on me.
We do that to you, man.
Yeah. So I try to bring stories with sources that are at least considered mainstream, but I try to never bring a blatantly a crazy right wing news source story to the show. And so that's why I got these clips off of Tucker Carlson. He interviewed Naomi Wolf, who is a big liberal feminist, and I brought these clips for the same reason that I brought up Camille Paglia in her article that one time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's Naomi Wolf has her liberal left wing bona fides. You know, for sure. She, you know, no one questions her. You know, her commitment to the cause. But Tucker Carlson interviewed her, I guess, this past week. I caught the interview, and I pulled these clips out. Tucker's not in here, but I pulled out 3 of these clips from her, and this is her kind of talking about the erosion of our freedoms, or the outright theft of our freedoms, as a result of these lockdowns that we've been in. And you know, I could say all these things until I'm blue in the face, and nobody cares. But maybe if someone on the different political spectrum than me says them, maybe it has more impact. I don't know, maybe not. But I want to play these, and this first one here is. Shit, I don't know. I can't tell. Anyway, here we go.
Well, we could take this. There was encouraging news today on the flu season here.
I'm sorry. I didn't load it. Here we go. I'm sorry. Here we go.
No worries.
Naomi Wolf won.
It's not just that one tweet. I've been writing pretty much every day for months and months about what I see as the terrible crisis that we're in, that we have to recognize under the guise of a real medical pandemic. We're really moving into a coup situation, a police state situation. And that's not a partisan thing. That, you know, as you say, that transcends everything you and I might agree or disagree on.
Right.
That should bring together left and right to protect our Constitution. We're absolutely moving into what I call step 10. I wrote a book in which I pointed out there were 10 steps that would-be tyrants always take when they want to close down a democracy. Whether they're on the left or the right, they always do the same 10 things. And now we're at something I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. You described it really, really well. It is step 10, and that's the suspension of the rule of law. That's when you start to be a police state, and we're here. There's no way around it.
So I found that interesting.
So she said something about you'll start seeing suspension of law.
Yeah, and she elaborates more on further clips, but or I don't know. Let me see. Did she say that, or let me see if we can jump to a portion. Let me see what happens here.
It's not just that one tweet. Would-be tyrants always take when they want to close down a democracy, whether they're on the left or the right, they always do the same 10 things. And now we're at something I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. You described it really, really well. It is step 10, and that's the suspension of the rule of law. That's when you start to be a police state, and we're here. There's no way around it.
Suspension of the rule of law. And I think, and you'll see when we get on here, she's talking about the Constitution. If you don't have, do you have it? You want to comment further, or should I go on to?
Well, you can go on. I'm interested in how this shapes up.
Yeah, this is clip 2.
I've interviewed doctors. I've interviewed ordinary people, restaurant owners from all walks of life who are absolutely unable to even articulate their fear and horror, recognizing that the state has now crushed businesses, kept us from gathering in free assembly to worship, as the First Amendment provides, is invading our bodies, as you mentioned, which is a violation of the Fourth Amendment, is restricting movement, fining us here in New York State. I could be fined $15,000 a day if I gather people, more than 10 or 25 people, depending on where in New York State I live, which is a complete violation of the First Amendment. I mean, the violations go on and on and on. I've talked to restaurant owners who are looking at a sector in which tens of thousands of small businesses have been crushed. And why were they crushed? Not because a pandemic forced them to. There is no real science underlying a lot of these closures. It's because autocratic tyrants at the state and now the national level are creating a kind of merger of corporate power and government power, which is really characteristic of Italian fascism in the 1920s. And they're using that to engage in kind of emergency orders that simply strip us of our rights to property, rights to assembly, rights to worship, and all of the rights that our Constitution guarantees.
I think she's narrowing it down on that even more there. And this final clip, really, I think she drives it home. So, this is clip 3.
Luckily or unluckily, I've been studying closing democracies for 12 years. So I recognized early on, once I realized New York State had emergency powers, I know from history that no one gives up emergency powers willingly. Right. They always drag it on. And so every month I'm getting in my email an announcement.
I like, that's something that we've mentioned before, that how many powers were taken after 9/11 that have not been given back? It's
it's funny because I think we talked about the whole AMUF or something like that, where basically they have a right to go to war forever about for anything they want. Mm-hmm. I will push back against her. I think that she's somewhat mischaracterizing some things, insofar as it wasn't there was absolutely no reason to do half of the things they did. We had a unprecedented public health emergency, not something that we hadn't seen since 1918. And so
it's interesting. Hold your thought there, because she addresses that in the next minute.
It's meant that Governor Cuomo is extending emergency measures. Only from studying history do I know how predictable it is when you start to have elected officials say, we are not going to follow the Constitution because there's a pandemic. And I just want to say lastly, and then I promise I'll stop, nowhere in the Constitution does it say all this can be suspended if there's a bad disease. We have lived through typhus, cholera, smallpox, HIV, tuberculosis, polio, the Spanish flu. We've lived through an attack on our soil. Never have there been months and months and months of emergency powers when we weren't actually fighting a war? So
That's right.
this is completely unprecedented. Lockdowns have never been done before in free societies, and really we're turning into a version of a totalitarian state sort of before everyone's eyes. And I really hope, we wake up quickly, because history also shows that it's a small window in which people can fight back before it's too dangerous to fight back.
Wait, what does she mean by that?
Which part?
There's a small window for which we can fight back, and to the point where it gets too dangerous for us to fight back. What does she mean by that?
Well, you'd have to ask her. I can surmise that it would be that if we just sit back and do nothing, and we get, there's a point where you just can't fight back. There is no fighting back.
Yeah, I see your point that we agree insofar as that it appears as if there is an overreaction. I think we part company in the idea that we're getting our rights taken away, and it's malicious, and it's not coming back.
You don't think we're losing our rights?
I think we are, but I don't think it's malicious. I don't think there's a bunch of guys sitting in a room saying, okay.
Does it matter what does the intent matter if we lose them?
Intent always matters.
If they're gone, they're gone.
Oh no, but I was answering the question that does intent matter, and to me the answer is yes.
Okay.
I could foresee a possibility where it's just intent does matter, but I'm not necessarily saying that we're not losing rights. I think that is something that you can say that is an infringement on our rights, because you can't go out. There's so much stuff you can't do. I don't have a problem with them shutting down businesses, though. It seems as if there's somehow this idea that businesses are supposed to be like sacred, and they're not. It's the government's role and job to I don't want to say manage, but not, the word isn't manage, but not patrol either. I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
I think you're having a problem because the government doesn't have that. That's not the government's responsibility.
What?
Whatever it is you were going to say, it's not the government's responsibility.
Well,
I'm always positive of it.
No, I think one thing that we've been hearing too much of is about it's not the government's role to do X, Y, and Z. And I think oftentimes when I hear people saying that, I'm like, no, it is the government's role. So they say, oh, it's not the government's role to be picking winners and losers. That's quite explicitly the government's role. We pick winners and losers insofar as we choose to tax things and not tax other things. We pick winners and losers insofar as I think we need to start pushing back against this whole. There's a lot of it out there. The talking point that the government's role should be minimum at best, and I think that in 2020, when you have a disease that can go from Wuhan, China, and end up in your doorstep within a month's time, you do need a vigorous government.
Yes, to protect us from this disease that most people recover from.
And we can only say that, after securing the knowledge that because we know that now. This time last year, we did not know that.
So we know it now. Why are we still being persecuted?
Persecuted? Who's being persecuted?
Well, ask the business people who are being shut down.
My understanding is that you don't. My understanding is that property is a right that's given by the government.
There's the crux of it, is the government giving us our rights, and that's not how it works. We have our God-given rights, or our natural given rights. And the entire purpose of the Constitution is to identify. I mean, if you read it the way it's written as a bunch of things that the government can't do. It's not a list of things that the government lets you do. It's a list of things that the government can't prevent you from doing. And
I read it a little bit differently. I read it as the Constitution is basically a leveling out of who has what power and under what circumstances they can execute that power. And that the part you're talking about, the thing the thing that the government, you said something that caught my attention, and I'm not being very useful with that. Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is basically that I'm going to start pushing back more directly on a lot of the talking points that I hear from you and others about the role of the government, and I just think if nothing else, this whole COVID has made me comfortable in believing that there is an active role for the government, and we probably need more government involvement than less. Now,
please, government, protect us, save us. Here, take all my freedoms and rights. Just make me safe, please.
Well, if that's what you heard, then I can tell you're not listening.
No, I know what you're saying. I just want to, but I just to clarify things, I'm going to read verbatim the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievance. It doesn't say that the people are allowed to do this. It says Congress, i.e. the government, shall make no law.
Now, seeing as how you are being quite textual there, it does say Congress. It specifies that Congress can't take an action, and it also specifies that there cannot be a law that prohibits people from freely assembling. That does leave open the possibility that there may be other government entities that can, in a limited capacity, curtail those rights. I don't think any of those rights, as enumerated that you just read, are without limits, or just boundless. And so, yeah.
Okay.
So you're right. The Constitution is a document that basically lays out how the country is going to run, but it's it says when you can and when you can't, and where there is an area of ambiguity, that's what we have the courts for.
My claim is that the Constitution is a list of things that lists what the government cannot do.
And I would say that is a partial understanding of the document. Notice I did not say incorrect, just incomplete.
Okay. Well, that's all I had to say. Like I said, I concede that I've lost this argument. I just, like I said, I'm going to go down with the ship.
Is that Brian taking his L?
Yeah, I'm going to go down with the ship. I will.
Well, I mean, that's in true Cantor style.
So let's move on. This is another article that I had not. Here's my extent. I heard that Obama and Rick Springsteen were doing a podcast. But that's all that I knew.
Quick question.
Yeah.
This is gonna be me displaying my ignorance, but Yeah. Yeah.
No dumb questions, man. No dumb questions.
Yeah.
I ask plenty of dumb questions.
Well, wait till you hear this one. When was the last time Bruce Springsteen like made an album or made music?
Yeah, last time he was relevant. Yeah, it was the 80s.
Okay. Because I remember. I mean, it seemed like every 4 years when the Democrats want to run for office, he shows up. But if you, I honestly can't tell you the name. One name. Oh, Born in the USA.
Born in the USA is the only
Yeah.
Rick. Yeah, I'm the same with that's the only Rick Springsteen.
Why you call him Rick and not Bruce?
Bruce, I'm sorry, because I'm confusing him with Rick Springfield. Bruce Springsteen, yes. Born in the USA is the only Springsteen song that I can think of.
Yeah.
I know. I think he had an album called Born to Run, and that's the song. That's the album that it was on. But I don't know any other Bruce
Springsteen.
songs. Springsteen songs.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. I mean, I know he made that song, and I know he's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Everything else, like,
No, I feel you, man. Yeah, I know. I get what you say. He just doesn't mean he's not that important to me either.
yeah. But I don't think I've ever met a Bruce Springsteen fan.
I mean, I like the song.
No, I mean it's a cool song, Born USA. But no, I mean, who's a fan? Who's like, you know what? Like, who's going to his concerts? Who's showing up with Bruce Springsteen posters and stuff like that?
Yeah, and I think his band is the E Street Band. It's Bruce. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, the E Street Band. Yeah, I don't know, man. Apparently they're out there. You hear about it. I mean, maybe I'm just not cultured enough to.
Well, I know
be
for
on that
a fact that
bandwagon.
I'm not cultured enough because, I mean, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I just had to get that out there.
No, I'm glad that you did because I think and feel the same way. It's funny that you actually brought it up.
He's kind of like one of those cultural artifacts that, like, all the older people, like, love and revere, but the younger people are like, why is he here? So.
Yeah. So this is an article, and this is I think this came from the Daily Mail, but
Yes, it did.
So it's Obama calls for reparations for Black Americans because the
wealth of this country was built on the backs of slaves, but he says he couldn't get it done as president due to politics of white resistance and the fact that he's a coward. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't. That one.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that part in my text.
Yeah, it's there, man. Trust me, it's there.
Yeah. So and that's kind of the conclusion I came to as well when I read this. He assumed that he would get this resistance, but he didn't try. He didn't try.
It's one of those things where, I mean, the only time he's only on camera talking down reparations. He's never on camera saying, you know what, maybe this is something that we need to ponder with. I mean, he pondered the. He evolved on gay marriage. Mm-hmm. I would imagine that evolving on gay marriage would be harder than being like, you know what, maybe the people whom we built the country on, they should get something. But okay, sure. You want to go into this, or you want me to read it?
So let me real quick. So during his 2008 presidential election, Obama appeared to oppose reparations.
He didn't appear. He opposed.
Okay. I think they're trying to be as kid-gloved as they can in reporting this.
But here's another thing. He's not president anymore. Why is he coming out with this now? It sounds like he's trying to, salvage his reputation.
Could be. Look, I read this entire. This is Daily Mail. What they do is they'll put the art. They'll give you like bullet points of what's in the article, and that's what I put in the show notes here. But I did read the entire article. The one thing I took away from it is he seems in the article, he seems to acknowledge that reparations are due only to descendants of slaves and not just
Any non-white
quote unquote black people or colored people or whatever the term is, and whatever
people of
could.
color. I hate that phrase.
People of color. That's a bad phrase. So he seems to, at least in the article, acknowledge that's what the reparations are. Well, yeah, it actually says it right here. Registrations are payments made and programs created to help the descendants of slavery. So he's right in that aspect. But the problem, like I've always said, when it comes down to it, Democrats are going to want, Republicans are just going to oppose it because. And Democrats are going to want to expand it to everyone. So, yeah. So she says. So Obama said that talk of welfare queens and the undeserving poor would have made a reparations program counterproductive. So, yeah, I agree. You're right. I mean, if he had the weight of the presidency behind him, he could have come out and stated it. I think he could have stated it like I told you. I was absolutely opposed to the idea until I heard it explained as it was the MoFax show, and I heard it explained to me in a way that I was like, well, yeah, I can't. I have to, I can see that, and Obama having the what's the term, the pulpit of the presidency, or whatever it is.
Pulpit.
Yeah, the bully pulpit. Yeah, he could have made that. He could have made that argument, and if he would have went out and made that argument, maybe during a State of the Union or something, whatever you have the most people listening, he probably could have swayed a lot of hearts and minds if he'd have made that argument properly.
I don't think. I mean, I think he's saying this now because he wants his. He's saying this now because he wants his great grandchildren, when they look at his Wikipedia page, to be like, yeah, my granddad was cool, as opposed to my granddad was a coward. But I think this kind of suggests that he was a coward as well. I mean,
this isn't necessary. I've thought this, but this isn't me saying it. This also again comes from the MoFax show. The Democrat, they're all about. They seem to be about. They want color. I don't know. Kamala, not a Kamala, not a descendant of slavery. Obama, not a descendant of slavery. They just, I don't know.
I know another guy I follow says something to the effect of America's black problem. Got 40 million, want 500,000.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That basically the idea being that that America really doesn't have a place for the people whom it used to build its wealth. I mean, typically, my understanding is that slave cultures where they have slaves, once they they don't. I mean, after slavery is done, they don't want the former slaves to stick around. They find one way or another to dwindle their numbers. And I think America's done an excellent job with that. I'm sorry. This is a very bad thing. I don't want to say excellent and have the idea that I'm supporting it. No, and I remember
Right, of
hearing
course, yeah.
that African Americans are referred to as kind of like like a like an internal colony or a colony under siege or it's something like that. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting
No, that's okay. That's an interesting take. I mean, I don't know. Can I? Do you think it's just? I don't know. Is it fair to say that the I'll say the Democrat Party just because they're the ones that seem to benefit from black vote, but they only care about black people when it's an election time. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. I wholeheartedly believe that. I wholeheartedly believe it, and it makes me sad.
Yeah. I don't. Okay, that's in. Well, I know you've had. This was interesting.
To like put up a fight on that one? No.
I know where you're coming from. So this wasn't a surprise to me.
Right.
But it's I don't really know or have a whole lot other to say.
Well, I mean, you read a part about the white resistance, right?
Yeah.
Is that
Well, and I mean, there's going to be I get if you're going to say that Republicans are the party of white people, then there's definitely going to be resistance to the idea of, but again, like I said, if someone was to maybe articulate it properly and have the guts to come out and say, no, this isn't for Mexicans. No, this isn't for Muslim immigrants. No, this isn't for people who. This is for a specific group of people, and this is the people that we're talking about.
I honestly think that America as it is currently configured, can't bring itself to do that. I think maybe in 20 years when the African American populations, let me not say that. Let me take a step back. I'm of the opinion that at our current glide slope, so to speak, that African Americans are going to end up like Native Americans in about 150 years or so. So you remember that joke about that Dave Chappelle did about him never having seen an Indian?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we'll be on that level, but I don't think we'll be too far removed. And I think when our numbers are sufficiently dwindled, then they'll be like, oh yeah, maybe we should give them some reparations, and it'll be something like a 21st century version of a what's it called again? A reservation, basically a place where you basically put a.
We'll let black people open up casinos.
Huh? That wouldn't be all bad, but casinos are kind of evil. I mean, you don't.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't put a place where you want good things to happen.
Yeah. I'm not prepared to talk about this tonight, but something that's been jostling around in my head lately, and I don't want to, and actually the most recent MoFact show talked about this, so I definitely don't want to bring it up again because I don't want to give the impression that we just mimic these other shows. We don't. But this is something that I've been thinking about for a while. But it's the idea of there's like a I'll just kind of tease this for the people, and we can come back to it later when we give it more thought. I know I say that all the time and we never come back, but we will we will circle back around to this. But if you look at a lot of the mainstream um, TV shows, movies, and even commercials, the ideas of mixed race is like really, really, really being pushed
You know what?
hard.
It's funny you should say that because I've been making that same observation over the past 2 or 3 months, where you be watching TV and you're like, wait a second, like you're like, okay, it's like, oh, there's a black man with a white woman, and
Right.
a lot of times there's like pharmaceutical ads, and it's just odd places. I have noticed that, and I have commented on it before. I'm happy that I'm not the only one.
You're absolutely not. It's a weird thing, and I think, and it's not just people. The knee jerk. Oh, you just don't want to lose your white whatever, blah blah blah. But it goes both ways. I mean, I think that there's the ultimate goal is to the people just want us to all end up being like this in the middle, like a light skin mocha kind of a race where we're all kind of the same that way, and
I mean,
there
think
is no
that's likely what we're going to eventually end up like, just genetically.
right. Yeah, you're right, but I think that's what they want. They want to breed. They want to breed white culture out as well as black culture, and it's these things are just kind of all these things just happening to just kind of put the idea in our heads that of course it's normal for. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll let you finish your thought.
Well, it's just I think that they just want to make things normal. It make it it's normal for a Chinese woman to be married to a black man, and a white man to be married to a black woman, and just take a mix mash of all your take all your races and just mix them all up, and we're being fed a steady dose of that, and it's
noteworthy.
It is noteworthy. I think Progressive Insurance has a commercial that really everyone featured in a commercial is like these mixed races, and like I said, you love who you love. I don't. If whoever you love is who you love, and that's great. But,
if they float your boat, have at it. But it is noteworthy to see this being pushed.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I also want to clarify that. I mean, I think in certain circles, just having this conversation, making that observation, is I don't want to say taboo, but kind of taboo.
Yeah. These are things you're not supposed. Yeah, you're right. These are things you're not supposed to talk about.
Yeah, and so I mean, that's kind of what we do. We have our own show, and so there you have it. Now, actually, this gets back to a separate point that I talked about earlier, and you made reference to as well, regarding say this whole putting out there that it's perfectly normal for white and basically people to mix. That whole question of intent again.
Yeah.
So you asked earlier, does intent matter? In this case, with this scenario, does it matter to you?
Yeah, I have to be honest. I think it does. Yeah, I mean, this is I'm putting on a tinfoil hat for sure. I know, but I do believe.
Okay.
I think the people that are running the show, it's what they want. They don't want a group of people who have pride in something like a culture or a history or something like that. They want something else. They don't want black people who are proud of their culture. They don't want white people who are proud of their culture. Or any race that are proud of. They want they want they want this utopia where everyone just is. It's they want this unattainable thing, I think. And
well, I mean, a utopia will be great. I mean,
yeah, it would be great.
Let's not act as if we don't want a utopia, but people are going to be who and what they are.
Yeah, that's the thing. Human nature. The only problem with all of these grand designs is they go against human nature. Yeah, they go against human nature. People can't. You can't have everyone can't be equal, because there's always going to be those people who just excel. There's always going to be a Elon Musk, or there's always going to be a, as much as I hate to say it, a Bill Gates or whatever. You're never going to have, for their utopia to exist, everybody's going to have to be content with being the same, and that just goes against human nature. There's going to be people who want to excel, that want more.
I don't think it's a matter of people, of certain people not wanting to excel, and people. Yeah, I think we part company in that respect. I just think that there's a group of people. Actually, this actually kind of reminds me of something I sent you earlier I think last week. You remember the? I think I sent you a link with a guy talking about cancel culture.
Oh yeah, that guy. I wish for all of his bloviating, I wish he would have given some real concrete examples to help his argument, but he didn't. But yeah, I'm aware. I know who you're talking about. So proceed with your. Proceed.
No, I think he gave some pretty good examples. I mean, now just bring everybody up to speed. The guy was talking about cancel culture and how. Actually, this is a totally different topic, and I'm not even very sure how I got it connected in my head. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have tried to link those two ideas together.
I've been there, man. It's all right. You could, get it together. We can discuss it later.
We kind of meander into that topic too.
Yeah. So, well, look, I wanna, if we're done with that, I wanna give you big kudos here, because you completely called this, and this was like literally 10 minutes before we started recording. This came out on the news. U.S. launches airstrike against Iranian-backed forces in Syria. This is from Fox News. U.S. military carried out an airstrike against an Iranian-backed militia stronghold in Syria Thursday, a senior U.S. official told Fox News. Multiple facilities were struck in the air attack, which was sanctioned by President Biden. The senior official said the strike was a defensive strategy intended to halt and deter future rocket attacks by the militia group that recently hit Baghdad and Erbil. So, and that's it. That's the end of the story. That's how fresh this news is. That's all they had to report before we started recording. So, yeah, you predicted from the beginning that Biden was going to start ramping up military escalations again, and I didn't expect it so soon. But here we go. This is a big check mark for Joe.
Sorry.
Yeah, because I don't know. I have not heard. I don't know what this is. It says that this was to halt and deter future rocket attacks by the militia group. But are you aware of any? Do you know what they're talking about? I've not heard anything about that.
Well, basically, Israel routinely suffers from rocket attacks from I don't know who it is, but that's a ongoing part of Israeli existence is, oh my goodness, the rockets might be falling again.
So is this what? Maybe this is just my ignorance of the Middle East, but I always assumed that. I mean, you hear Palestine. I mean, is Syria? Is Syria supplying Palestine, or is Syria? And I know I've always heard Palestine is not really a country; it's
like a colony or territory.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Is that what they're talking about? I know. I mean, I've certainly heard about rocket attacks going into Israel. Is that what they're talking about here?
Honestly, I'm not sure. It sounds as if Iran is supplying somebody who's doing some bad stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, this is literally hot off the press as we were starting the show, and there you have it.
Yeah, we'll surely we'll probably know more about this by the time everyone listens to this tomorrow.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, that's interesting. So that brings us into this week in Skullduggery. Unless you have anything else you want to talk about.
No, I think we did a fair amount of talking today.
Yeah, this like we discussed, 2021 is, I don't know, people just must not be super interested in doing skullduggerous things, because once again I was like had to scrape around the bottom of the internet barrel to find some stuff to talk about here.
Well, and I joined in, but I think your stories are winning out. So
yeah, but yours is good too, and we want to maybe we can hit on that next week. It was what I found most. Your story was the Lady Gaga. Her dog walker got executed, and her dogs were taken.
Well, not executed.
Well, he was shot.
I don't know why that's funny to me.
I don't know why I said it. I don't even know why I said it. It came to me, and I just blurted it out.
like executed has a very specific meaning. Like
yeah.
It's like, I don't want to die. Like, it's time for you to die.
But all I seen about that story was that there was like a really big reward for
like $500,000
for the return of her dogs.
Yeah.
But I was like, what about the guy that got shot? Do you want to maybe some money? Throw a few shekels to someone who can shed some light on who killed the poor dog walker.
Yeah,
man.
Can I get some workman's comp?
Yes.
Sign up for this.
Oh my god! So, that was a great story.
Not if you're the dog walker.
No. If you're the dog walker, definitely. I mean, I hope that it was just like they walked up on him and shot him and took the dogs. I hope that he didn't like try to defend the dogs. I hope they didn't like come up and say, "Hey, give us the dogs, or we're going to shoot you." And he was like,
"No, I can't give these dogs.
I can't give you these dogs, man. I just can't."
Yeah. I'm like, yep. Here you go. This one's name is this one, and this one eats at 3:00, and this one, likes his left ear scratched this way. Please don't hurt me.
Exactly.
Now the thing is, they only took 2 of the 3 dogs now.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's funny. So,
Now the crazy thing is, a lot of dogs are chipped nowadays. Now I don't think that means that they'll be able to put a beacon on the dog, but Lady Gaga.
No, you're absolutely right. They are. I'll bet you she absolutely had those dogs chipped.
Yeah, and the type of dogs they were, French bulldogs are the most popular. I think they're like the second most popular dog that's stolen. I think the first one being Yorkies.
Wow.
Literally, just people will just scoop them up.
Crazy.
So, what's Florida Man doing?
Yeah, so this I just I was scrambling around, and so I came across I think this was from the New York Post, but I called this Florida Man's Greatest Hits, and so I just got a bunch of like short descriptions of various things that Florida Man has that has been attributed to Florida Man. I'll say.
Well, how many of there are these?
Well, there's like close to 15 or 20 in this list, but there's the number of Florida Man screw ups are legion.
Now, I'm scrolling through this list, and it's pretty hilarious stuff. And
Yeah,
do we
that's
need to
some
have like
crazy shit.
a Florida Man section?
I don't know. I think it's more important is we got to make sure that we don't let Florida Man take over the skullduggery
Oh
section.
no, I think I think we can have skullduggery in Florida Man, but just no skullduggery can involve a Florida Man.
Okay. Well, we'll consider that the a Florida Man section because Florida Man he's a special he's a special breed of human.
Yeah, let's just why don't you pick one and you pick one or two and I'll pick one or two and we can see if cause
All right, I'll start with this. I'll start with this one here. I'll start with the first one here. June 11th, 2012. Florida man arrested for calling 911 after kitten denied entry into strip club.
what?
Everett Lawgaze was arrested outside Emerald City Strip Club in Murdoch for repeatedly calling the emergency line to report that the club owner had refused to let his kitty into the jiggle joint, deputies said.
Well, no, I'm curious. Is Kitty literally a cat?
Well, that's I'm guessing that it is, but
Because I was beginning.
I know that they're writing this article with like all these double entendres in the back of their mind, man.
Because like when I saw a kitten, I was like, okay, maybe like he brought his girlfriend to dance, and they were like, yeah, no, but it might just be that this person actually had a cat that they wanted to take into a strip club.
It's it's quite. I'm a cat person myself.
Yes, you
I
are.
love
Yes,
cats,
you are.
but, yeah, I don't know that I don't. Yeah, I just can't see me in this situation now. But anyway, what jumps out at you, man? Which of these tickled your fancy, cat? Your fancy?
Probably December 7th, 2015, Florida man killed by alligator while hiding from cops. Yeah, you probably wish that night in jail would be would be life compared to not being.
Oh my God, an 11-foot gator. That'll do it.
A terrible way to go. Right? Would you rather
hiding from
night in
cops
jail and potentially get raped or eaten by an alligator?
Whoa! Are we talking about potentially getting raped?
Oh, I mean, I imagine that's a potential for anyone who's in jail, right?
Well, maybe this was the best for him. I don't know.
Yeah. That whole thing called dignity goes right out the window in certain circumstances. You see another one?
But the thing is, he didn't die though. I don't think he just lost part of his arm. Totally worth it. Totally worth not getting raped.
No. Matt Riggins, 22, was fatally chomped.
Oh, it says fatally. You're right. It does say fatally.
I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah. Well, I read it was like when police found him, the 22-year-old was missing part of his arm.
Yeah.
I figured I thought they'd just sew it back up and he's all right. But no, you're right. When they say fatal, that's kind of final.
Yeah, fatal is final.
Mm-hmm. Now, everybody remembers this. This got blamed on bath salts. June 27th, 2012, Florida man chews off another man's face.
I think were we drinking together? When this
I
think this was the day we went to the that place next to your place, and we were giggling at the two. Well, that same night.
It's quite. I don't know. We were
we were a debrief.
We one night we partaked in some synthetic marijuana, some synthetic weed. I can't remember what it was called.
It was
Mr.
called
Happy
Friday
Guy
Weed.
or something maybe.
And I think after that, we never tried it again. We were just like, no.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We were or at least I know that I was scoffing at it. I was like, I wasn't taking it seriously, and one of it, I think it was called like Mr. Happy Guy or something. It was in a little foil packet with a smiley face on it, and we hit that pretty hard, and we were going to go over to Arnold's next door, and we got out the back door of my building, and I was just like, Joe, I can't make it, man. And you was kind of like, yeah, I don't know that I can either. And so we turned around and went back in, and we went back up to my apartment. And I remember just getting up there and hopping on my couch, and I just had to ride it out because I literally thought that I was going to fall off the couch. That stuff hit me so damn hard. I was like I might not make it.
Well,
And I don't know how it affected you, but that's how it. I'll admit I'm a lightweight.
Oh no! Yeah.
Like literally right now, just regular weed right now. When I hit it, I just have like a very, very, very tiny amount, and I have to do that right before I jump into bed because I'm just such a lightweight. It just messes me up, and so I know that then we probably just packed the pipe and just passed it back and forth until it was empty, and so I can only imagine what that did to me. But I remember laying on the couch, just sitting there on the couch, slumped over the armrest, and just thinking,
why?
"Oh my God, I'm gonna fall." Yeah. So, but yeah, I do also remember us going over. I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry, you were saying?
I do remember another time when we actually went to Arnold's and we're sitting there and the waitress is trying to take our orders, and I know I just couldn't stop fucking laughing. Oh, it's just so stupid, man. It's just, yeah, weed is a great thing for some people, I guess, but I just can't do it, man. It messes me up.
You got to know your limits, man.
Yeah, and my limits is like very, very small. Like literally, Keith. I didn't say Keith. My contact can give me like can give me just like a bud, and it'll last me for like 9 months. That's how little I consume of it.
Hey,
I didn't say Keith. I said my contact.
yeah, contact.
All right. Do you have another one?
Well, actually, let me go back. Let's see here.
Yeah, take a look here, and then we'll get out of here.
Let's see. I saw it, and who's that?
There's a lot of good ones in here, man.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. June 8, 2017, Florida man desperate for a ride to Hooters calls 911. Jonathan Hinkle allegedly told 911 dispatchers he needed a ride to a provocative eatery to help his grandmother, who had fallen ill. Cops later learned the 28-year-old Merritt Island man's granny was perfectly fine, and Hinkle was arrested on charges of misusing 911. I mean, we both had have been to Hooters before, but I don't think we've ever been there and it constituted an emergency, right?
Yeah, especially using the name of your grandmother would be. Yeah. I would just feel like I broke some karmic law,
Yeah. You're not supposed to put, sickness on people who are old and likely to get sick.
Now you got to save those kinds of. You got to pull those only when things are like seriously dire. Not because you need a ride to Hooters, man.
Do they have Uber back then?
17?
Yeah, they had it.
I'll bet they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, call Uber, man.
Yeah. This guy had his priorities all jacked up.
Alrighty. Well, everyone who's still listening, thank you. Thank you for hanging out. If you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we overcome the technology gods once again, Joe. You know what? I should not say that until
I was just about to
I've downloaded.
We want to make this show next week, don't we?
Yeah. I don't, and plus I need to download these files and everything before I start getting cocky. So regardless,
you did hit record, didn't you?
Oh yeah, dude. If I didn't hit record, if we'd done this entire show and I didn't hit record, you probably just wouldn't even hear from me for like 2 or 3 weeks. I would just. That's how
distraught.
I can't even verbalize how I would be if I didn't record, especially after our failed first attempt. Oh my goodness. No, we're recording. Everything should be good. knock on wood and all that. Yeah. So anyway, as always, it's been a pleasure, Joe.
Always a good time.
It is. It is. This is a good time. And, we'll do this again in 7 days. We'll chat then. Take care, my man.
Will do. You too.